Hello there, my name's Jan and I'd like to welcome you to the second episode of the Faithful Sheep Crafts podcast. I did my first episode a couple of weeks ago and I'm absolutely overwhelmed with the response that I've had. I am so grateful for all the comments that you've sent me. I've tried to reply to all the comments that have been posted on the YouTube after the video. If I haven't replied to you, I'm really sorry, but as I've got a notification, I've tried to send a reply straight away. But I can't tell you how much it means to me. It's really filled my heart with joy, the positive response and the really kind sort of comments people have made, and sort of them sharing what they've been doing as well. And I'd just like to say a big thank you to Davina of Little Workroom Crafts, Lindsay from Stitch Create Love, Karen from Stitches and Jacks, Dawn from Dawn's Days, Ruth from Ruth Loves to Knit, and Amanda from Little Lycat, because they all so kindly did a shout out, and I have to say it's made a huge difference. I'm really chuffed. I've got 247 subscribers, which is just really lovely that anyone actually wanted to give up sort of just an hour of their time to see what I've been making. And I hope that you were able to sort of knit or sew, cross stitch, whatever it is that you like to do whilst you're watching. For those of you that are back for the second episode, thank you so much. I'm really grateful. And for those of you joining for the first time, it's lovely to see you. And if you enjoy what you see, then please hit the like and subscribe button. I kind of didn't set out with a thing of how many subscribers I can get, but I just wanted to share my love of crafting really, and all the things that I like to do, and a little bit of sort of life really. I think it's weird because I really wanted to podcast again on Tuesday, but I just didn't. The light wasn't great. We had lots going on at home. Max, our puppy, well, he's a year old now, he had a birthday. He's been quite full on this week. He's expanded his repertoire now from interior design. He's eaten a whole cushion this week, and he's also decided he'd like to go into landscape gardening and has been digging holes in our garden this week. So it's been quite a busy week, but I just thought today would be a good day to sort of catch up with you. It's Thursday the 20th of May today. Not very nice outside. Typical British weather is, we certainly haven't seen the summer yet, and it's not much like spring out there today. It's really overcast, so I do hope that the light is going to be okay. But that's enough waffling anyway. Should we get on to what we've been making? I've actually managed to get quite a few things finished off. I'm quite chuffed actually. I've been really busy. I've had a week off work this week. I work as a nurse. And I have actually got a week off this week, so I've had lots of jobs that I've been meaning to do for ages. None of them particularly fun, I have to say, but I have still managed to fit in some crafting time, so I'll show you what I've been up to. So my first finish is a pair of Peyton's Croy socks. I get the bus to work on the days that I'm working, and I always have a pair of vanilla socks on the go and call it my bus knitting. It stays in my work bag. It's surprising. It takes me about 40 minutes to get to work, and then the same again on the way home on the bus. So I can actually usually get sort of about an inch done on a journey on a bus. This is yarn that I bought when we went to Florida a couple of years ago. It's Peyton's Croy. I'm afraid I don't know what the colourway is. I can't find the ball band. I thought it was in my bag, but it's not. But it's a really nice woolly wool. I've knitted my youngest son a pair of socks in this wool before, and actually he's got two pairs, and they're both wash really well, and he says they're very comfortable, very warm as well. So yeah, so nice pair of socks. They are going to go in the box of things for Christmas. There's quite a few people that I knit socks for Christmas, so I'm kind of a bit ahead of the game there. So that's good. Another finish is a shawl that I showed you last time. I kind of got, after I finished the last podcast, I just wanted to crack on with this because I was enjoying it so much, and it was a really sort of a nice sort of simple knit. And it is the Winter Shade, and it's from a pattern. You get two patterns, and the pattern is Winter Shade and Summer Light. So this is the Winter Shade. As you can see, it's a really nice shawl, and it's blocked out really well. Too much of me there, sorry. It's not a huge shawl, but it's blocked out more than I thought it would. I think it's going to be really cosy. It's got a really nice picot edge on it. I don't know if you can see. Can you see that very well? My jumper's quite dark. Let me just put my hand behind there. Yeah, it's got a nice picot edge on it. The yarns that I used for this were Drops Nord. I can't remember the colour. I don't think they have colourways, do they? I think it's a name. But it's like a charcoal grey. It's really soft. And I think I showed you last time I'd knitted a shawl that had Drops Nord in it with a hand dyed, and I have to say I will do it again because it's got a really nice drape to it. And the rainbow colour one was a beautiful hand dyed skein that I got from the Yarn Badger. I got this last year with some birthday money, and I'd intended to knit socks with it, but as I said in the last podcast, I didn't think socks with 60% merino, 20% silk and 20% yak was a good idea. They wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes. So I really liked the yarn, and I really wanted to put it into something that was going to last a long time. So yeah, so I'm really happy with that shawl. It's really pretty. I'm going to be selfish, that's for me. I'm keeping that. And the next thing that I've finished, well, apart from putting a button on, I've got to take a little trip up to the craft shop later on today just to buy a button. I've got a jar full of yellow buttons, but none of them look right on this. So this is a little cardigan for my granddaughter. Oh, it's blowing up big time there. It's actually a bit, oh, I can't get the colour right for you. It's just like a little garter stitch cardigan. It was knit in pieces. It's quite sweet actually. It's the pattern, bear with me, is a Sirdar pattern, Sirdar 522A, and it's got these two versions on it. I did the round neck, but I have just done one buttonhole because it's for the summer. I thought Rosie's my granddaughter, she's not going to want to be all buttoned up, and I've knitted a few for her that have just had 1 or 2 buttons at the top, and her mum really likes those. So that's what I've done. So it's a really nice little pattern actually. If you're just starting to knit and you haven't knitted a garment before, then I recommend this pattern. It's a really good one to do. I used King Cole Baby Merino, King Cole Baby Wool. It's an acrylic, 100% acrylic. So Amber will be able to pop this in the washing machine and then just dry it over the air afterwards. Worst case scenario, she can put it in the tumble dryer. It's not going to be the end of the world. It'll probably just go a little bit fluffy. So I don't knit things for Rosie in hand dyed wool because Amber just likes to be able to just throw them in the washing machine. And you know, having had small children, any of you that have, I'm sure you'll understand that you don't really want to be spending ages hand washing garments for little people. They create enough washing as it is. So that's good. So I'm really pleased with that. I think that's all the finishes. I had showed a little cross stitch of a fox last time, and I wanted to have that finished for today, but when I went to put it in the little hoop, the piece of fabric is just too small. So I think what I'm going to have to do is either rethink how I finish it, or I think I'm going to try ironing some Vilene onto the back of the cross stitch, but making that slightly bigger than the actual cross stitch itself, and see if I can finish it off properly like that. It's a shame because I really would have liked to have got that finished, but I did lose it for a little while, couldn't find it, and then realised it had dropped down behind the table that I've got in this room. It had dropped off the back of the table and down onto the floor, and I couldn't see it. So I found it now. So I'm really hoping that I'll be able to work out how to do that. I think I'm going to paint the little hoop that it was in. I had thought about wrapping fabric around it, but it's quite small, so I think the best thing is going to be to paint it with some acrylic paint, or I'll stain it with some wood stain. But promise, definitely have that finishing next time. Okay, so works in progress. I haven't done any work on Dad's Jones cardigan. Well, I did about 3 or 4 rows, I think, so I'm not going to show that today. I have to really concentrate when I do that pattern. It's not difficult, but also I'm finding the wool is quite dark, so it's definitely something that I need to do when the light's good. Although it's not getting dark early, the light in our living room isn't great at all, and it's not great in this room either. That will hopefully change when I decorate it a much lighter colour, and I'm going to look at getting an hot light or something as well. I have got a daylight lamp that Sean actually pulled it out of a skip. They were doing, he's a builder, and he was doing a loft conversion for someone, and he saw this thing in a skip, and he said, oh, what's that? And she said, oh, it's a daylight lamp, but I don't use it. And the only reason they'd thrown it out was there's like a casing on it, and it had kind of gone all brittle. I think it had probably been in sunlight, but Sean pulled out that off and he brought it home and said, oh, if it's not working, I might be able to fix it for you. And I plugged it in and it worked straight away. So, but it's on quite a big cumbersome stand. So I think probably once I get this room decorated, I'll be able to have a chair in here, and I'll probably have that behind the chair for when I'm knitting or doing cross stitch, because they do give out really good light. But I think possibly I might have to invest in a knot light or something as a table light. So what I did do lots of work on after I spoke to you last was my Like a Cloud, and it's a pattern by Johanna Locatelli. So it's a bit cumbersome. It's a pattern by Johanna Locatelli. It's a really nice cardigan to knit, and I have knitted one before, as I said last time, but I need to fix this. The hem around the sleeve has gone all frayed. I have found the leftovers now for that, so I'm hoping to get that done for next time. I think last time I was sort of halfway. It's really difficult to show this. I was halfway down the body, but I've completed the body. Hoping you can see that. It's a really nice construction, and I finished one sleeve. Oh, wrong side, Jan. Finished one sleeve. The sleeves are quite long, and I've almost finished the second sleeve. I did think about cracking on with this and getting it finished, but I kind of I don't know if anyone else gets hay fever. I get like a hay fever sort of asthma allergy type thing, and it was really bad for a few days, and I just found I was sneezing constantly, and this is quite a woolly wool, and I did wonder whether that was probably having an effect as well, but I'm really pleased how it's knitting up, and I've felt this yarn before. I'm knitting it in Titus, Baramu Titus. It's this one. And as I said before, it's a blend of 50% Wensleydale long wool, 20% Blueface Leicester and 30% UK alpaca. Now you would think that this is quite itchy, but it's actually not. It's not. You can tell it's wool, but it's not really scratchy. And I felt a garment knitted up in this. I think it was at the Knitting and Stitching show a few years ago, and it is so soft when it's been soaked. So I'm really looking forward to getting this finished. And let's face it, I'm going to be able to wear it at the moment, aren't I? Because it's not exactly hot outside. So I think it's going to be quite a good cardigan to have to pop on in the evenings in the summer. If we're sitting out in the garden, we have barbecue or something. I did, I think last time I said I'd seen Andrea Mowry's doing, I think it's like a Q&A session, and she was saying that she quite often advises people, or certainly when she knits a garment, if she's knitting sleeves in the round, then she always goes up a needle size, because she says your gauge when you knit in a smaller circumference is tighter. So I thought I would try this, and I have to say I think it was worthwhile with this garment. I'm not sure if it worked with everything. Johanna Locatelli says in the pattern that the body stretches out more than the sleeves. So the gauge is very slightly bigger, obviously because it's a bigger needle. It's very slightly bigger on the sleeves, but I do think when I block it that actually it's going to even itself out. And I have to say I think it was probably good advice, because the other Like a Cloud that I've done, it was quite snug around the sleeves, and I found, I don't know about you, and we don't have a dishwasher, so I'm washing everything up by hand, and I do tend to push my sleeves up when I'm washing up, and I found I couldn't push them far enough up my arms, and it really dug in if I did push them up. So I think this is going to be a lot more comfortable to wear. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this, and I kind of want to get it finished now. But I will be sad to finish it, if that makes sense, because I'm really enjoying knitting it. So as I say, I did quite a lot after the first episode, but then I decided to pop it away for a little while, and I think I'll probably might get that finished this weekend, or maybe next week. Oh, hang on, got caught up on my tripod then. That's not good. And it's living in one of my homemade bags. I am hoping to open an Etsy shop very soon. Sorry, the light's playing funny tricks here, isn't it? What's going on? I look more ghost-like than I actually am in real life. That's scary. Oh. I am hoping to open an Etsy shop soon, as I said last time. I did a couple of days last week. I thought, right, I'm going to cut out everything I need for, I think it was 8 bags. And I really messed my neck up. So I think what I'm going to have to do is maybe do a bag at a time over a couple of weeks, or maybe a month. So I maybe put, I don't know, say 8 8 or 10 in a shop each month and just spread it out, because certainly knitting's not so bad because I tend to knit at a table, but if I'm doing anything where my head is forward, I can really pay for it, and I did too much that day. I should have just done a couple of hours and stopped, but I really wanted to get the Etsy shop open. I was hoping to have it open by this podcast, but it's not happened, and also I'm waiting for some labels to come as well to go on the bags. I want to be able to send them out, you know, looking how I want them to look. So yeah, so hopefully I'm aiming for I'm going to say it'll probably be halfway through June. I'd like to have said the 1st of June, but realistically, I've got to be realistic. I need to get those few bits that I need to finish them off, and hopefully get it started up. But yeah, I do like these bags. You'll see one of my larger ones that I make as well, but it's nice. It's pretty, this one. It's a Liberty print. I really like it. I made one for a friend, and there was actually enough fabric to make one for me, so that's good. I forgot to tell you what I'm wearing. This is my Calliope sweater. It's a free pattern from Espace Tricot, and I knitted this in Coop Knits DK. I did buy a pattern, I think, yeah, Sue Stratford is the lady, and she'd knitted this really lovely cardigan that I saw at a show, and it had got like little hearts in bobbles around it, but I found I was knitting it and I wasn't really enjoying it, and I felt I couldn't see the pattern enough properly. Probably didn't help I was knitting it in the winter, and as I've already said, the light in our lounge is absolutely shocking. But I found it when I was sorting through some stash, and I just thought I'm going to have a go at that. The Espace Tricot patterns are amazing. I have to say, this knit up really quickly, really well written instructions, and I really like the fact that their patterns are free. They also lend themselves to adapting them as well. So the fit of this, I'm going to hope the chair doesn't scrape. I'm going to lift the chair up and step back a bit. I'm really pleased with how it fits. I am trying to lose weight at the moment, but it's just nice because it's not clinging around my tummy. I've got a mummy tummy. It just feels really comfortable. It sits nicely on my shoulders. I am quite broad across here, and I've also got quite a bad curve in my spine, so some jumpers just don't feel right, or they go right up at the back because of the curve in my back. But I'm really happy with this one. I'm actually considering knitting like a mild version or sort of a scrappy version, pairing leftover bits of sock yarn with another either drops or something like that, and knitting a really scrappy one because it's such a comfy jumper to wear. But sorry for digressing. So I forgot to tell you what I was wearing, and I really like this pattern. If you haven't looked at the Espace Tricot patterns, go and have a look because there's some really lovely ones over there. The next thing I've been working on, haven't done masses of it, and I've worked out why. I did pick this up this morning. As I said, my neck was quite sore, and it doesn't just affect my neck, it's my shoulders, my elbows, everything when it gets bad, and I end up with a really bad headache that makes me feel quite sick. So I was thinking this morning, some of this, it was because it was getting heavy. It's the Fandango blanket that I mentioned last time. I think it's Susie Johnson. It's a pattern on Ravelry. It is a paid for pattern, but it's not. I think it's £4.50 or something. It's really simple. It's only a 4-row repeat, and I'm knitting it in style crafty DK. But I think the reason I kind of had stopped doing it for a while, this is where's the stitch? There's the stitch marker. That's how much I've done since last time, which is nothing really. It's not even a whole repeat of the colours. But I think it was because it was heavy. And I was helping my friend Zoe with some knitting yesterday, and she's got, I knit most things on CHAWL needles, and she's got CHAWL, and I said, oh wow, these feel completely different. I haven't been able to use anything above a size 5.5 of my CHAWL because it really hurts my hands, and it kind of goes up my arms to my neck. So I haven't knitted anything in a big gauge like that for quite a long time. And I realised Zoe was stuck on something, and I realised the reason it was easier is because her needle tips were longer. Now I think it might be 4-inch and 5-inch CHAWL do, and my set of interchangeables I think are the 4-inch ones. So I think what I'm going to do is, I've got a birthday towards the end of next week, so I think what I'm going to do is, if I get any money for my birthday, I might invest in maybe a set of 5.5s and 6s in the longer style. So what I've done with this blanket this morning, sorry, digressing a bit, but I think it's a valid thing. I nearly kind of put this away and thought, I don't think I can do this because it's so heavy. I'm kind of, it's making me uncomfortable. I found my Knit Pro Zings, and these are good. I mean, they're not expensive, I don't think, for what they are. As long as you tighten the needle up really well to the cable, they're great, and they're quite slick. They're not as slick, I don't think, probably as the CHAWL, but these are longer. And I've done a few rows this morning. I did this green here and the first line of the turquoise, and it's made a huge difference. It doesn't, although it's still quite heavy, it doesn't feel like it's dragging on and pulling on my wrists. So I'm hoping, now I've switched the needles over, that I'll kind of want to pick this up a bit more. This is quite a good thing to do in the evenings if hubby and I are sitting watching something on the telly together. Yeah, I'm hoping to get some more done on this. I do want to get this finished. It probably won't be for next time, because there's a Stephen West blanket, Slip Stravaganza blanket, which I absolutely love. And it's massive. If you knit it in what they say, I think it works out in the UK, it's £349. Now, I dye my own yarn. I know how much effort and time goes into it, but there's no way that I can justify £349 on a blanket. So I'm going to be a rebel, and I'm going to knit mine in Stylecraft Special DK. And my lovely friend Jackie, bless her heart, she sent me some money and told me to go and buy the wool for that blanket. So tomorrow I'm going to go to Heathfield Crafts, which is one of our local wool shops, to see Lisa and Natasha, hi girls, and pick out some colours for that. We've had a few ideas. They've been sending me pictures on Messenger of colours and things, combinations. So I just kind of need to see them in real life, if that makes sense. Although it's great to order stuff online, I'm a bit old-fashioned. I actually like to see things in the flesh, because for photographs, I think online can really, the colours can be quite different to what you expect. So yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. So it'd be nice to go and have a treat, and yeah, and pick the wool for that. So thanks, Jackie, but I'm not going to start it until my birthday, I promise. So I do want to get this done. It's not going to be finished, I don't think, but I will work on this. I'm not going to make it absolutely huge, because I just want it to be like a little lap blanket for me when I'm sitting in this room. We've got a wood burner. At the moment we have no central heating and no hot water because our boiler has died, and sometimes it does get a bit chilly in here. We don't tend to have the heating on loads anyway, because we find it messes my asthma up a bit. So yeah, so it's just going to be like a lap size really, and then obviously I shall save all the bits that are left over. And I have had a thought about a scrappy project in the future, but I'm going to wait until another day to tell you about that. So that is a really nice blanket to do. I think you can do in any colours you like. I did mention the colours in the last podcast. I think it's lipstick, fondant, sage, pistachio, turquoise, cloud blue, and I think it's plum. I think it is, I can't remember, but no, it's a nice project. I think you know, I might sit and do a little bit of that this afternoon actually, because it's been a bit neglected the last 2 weeks. But as I say, now I've changed over those needles, I know it's really awful, but I couldn't find my zings, and I found them the other day. I'm in the process at the moment of sorting through all my craft stuff. I'm lucky, I've got lots of lovely things, and I just thought I need to go through it. A lot of people have given me stuff where they've cleared out their mum's houses and stuff like that, and although it's lovely, you kind of then end up with loads of clutter. So what I'm doing at the moment is in the process of going through everything. I grab a couple of bags a day and just go through those 2 bags a day, or 3, or a box or whatever, and go through anything that I think I'll use. I put to one side. Anything that I don't think I'll use but somebody else I know will, I pass on, and obviously anything else will go to the charity shop. One of our charity shops does have quite a good craft section in it, so that's good, yeah. So that's kind of another reason why I haven't got masses and masses of crafting done, but I still feel like I've achieved quite a lot though. So, next thing, bus knitting, because I finished the Croy socks. I started some more, and the department that I work in, I've been doing a lot of bank shifts there, and unfortunately those are going to start sort of to peter out now, because people have come back from being off and what have you. So I've been knitting the girls there or some of them, not all of them. One lady wanted a hat, so I knitted her a hat. I've done 2 pairs of socks already so far, and I also finished an Aran jumper for one of them as well. Bless her heart, she's waited a long time for that because I found I was really struggling to knit the Aran. So these socks are going to be for the lovely Julia, and this is Style Craft. I think it's called Head Over Heels. It's for a commercial sock yarn, it's not bad. If I'm honest, I prefer King Cole. This is lovely, and when it's soaked, it's really soft. I'm not sure how they're going to fare in the wash. I have said to the girls, I made 2 pairs for them out of the same brand of yarn but different colours, and I did say to them, if you hand wash them, they will last longer. What's lovely is Julia's only got size 5 feet, so it didn't take me that long to make at all. I've got size 8 feet, hubby's got size 9, youngest son's got size 9, and my eldest son, I think he's an 11. So socks are not quick to knit for our family. But yeah, she's got dinky little feet. So these knitted up quite quickly. I did cheat one evening and kind of did from about here and finished the toe. I try and make sure that I've done the rib. I can knit on the bus as long as I don't have to look at it, otherwise I get travel sick. So I tend to knit from the where the cuff finishes down to the heel shape, heel flap and gusset. Do the heel flap and gusset at home in an evening, and then just work that little bit. So I can actually get quite a pair of socks done quite quickly just from travelling to work and back. So I'm on the second one of these. I've just done the cuff, and that's all ready for when I go to work next week. I've just seen what's on here. Look at that little stitch mark, Progress Keeper. Can you see? It's a little sheep. I can't remember where that came from. But it's really cute. I like that. So yeah, she was happy. She's seen me working on. They laugh at, well, they don't laugh at me because they get the benefit of it, but I do tend to knit. We don't get a massively long lunch break. It's only half an hour. But if I'm not having something hot to eat, then obviously I can eat it. Doesn't take too long to eat, and then even if I just do a couple of rounds, because I find it really helps loosen my hands up during the day. So that's the again, I'm afraid I've lost the ball band. I'm so sorry. But it's okay. I mean, I think if you're learning to knit socks, it's perfect. I think it's under £5 for a ball, if I remember rightly. I think it's £4 something. So you know, if you're starting, and that's 100 grams as well, it's great if you're learning to to knit socks, because then you haven't spent a fortune on it. As I say, I love hand dyed yarn, but I'm afraid I am a bit naughty. Well, I don't think it is naughty actually. I think it's sensible. I have got hand dyed yarn in my stash. Won't be buying masses now. I think, as I said last time, our budget has hugely changed. My fault really. I can't work as many hours as I used to, and with the boiler packing up, and we've got a lot of quite major work we need to do to the house. So I'm just being sensible. You know, obviously birthdays and Christmas and things, it would be nice, and I'm not saying I won't ever buy it, but I certainly won't be buying as much as I used to, because you know, incomes change, and that's okay. And you know what, actually I'm fine with that. I think COVID, it's been difficult for different people, but at one point Sean and I were out of work, and that's the first time that's ever happened. I've never been out of work before, so it was a little bit scary, but we just made the best of what we've got, and actually you know, we really enjoyed it. It's made me appreciate more the things that I have, so that's good. So I've also got another cardie on the go for Rosie. This is the Rosa card. Oh, the light's awful, isn't it, with this colour? Can you see? It's got these lovely raglan increases. That's how you get your increases on your raglan. It's really sweet actually. Bear with me, I've got the photo for this I think somewhere. What have I done with it? It's in here. Sorry, excuse the rustling. Come on, Jan, get yourself sorted out. Okay. So yeah, it's the Rosa cardigan. Isn't she cute, that little girl? Little Rosa it's called. And it is by along AVEC Anna. Haven't knitted any of her patterns before. It's a good pattern. It says it's very beginner friendly. I did spot one thing in it, and I thought if you hadn't knitted something before, you might have a bit of a problem with that, and it was just with the chart. But I mean, I worked out, I thought that doesn't quite work out, and I worked out what I needed to do. But it's actually knitted up really quickly. I did go to, I had to go down to, there's a big Tesco's near where we live, and I thought I will just pop into Hobbycraft. I wanted to get a piece of the foam core board, because I want to make one of the block board things that Laurie Holt shows you how to make for doing quilt blocks. And when I was in there, they had this Sirdar Snuggly replay. Oh, sorry, the light doesn't like that, does it? There we go. It's replay Sirdar Snuggly, 50-gram balls. It's called Ice Cream Dream, and Rosie does like her ice cream. I saw her a couple of weeks ago and we had an ice cream, and she was trying to get out of the pushchair to get to it, so Nanny let her have some before I had some. She just had a little taste, but she absolutely loved it. So it's a really nice colour. It's kind of not a cream and it's not a yellow or a lemon. The fibre content, bear with me, is 50% cotton and 50% acrylic. And it does say it can go on a 40 wash, so hopefully Amber can put this in the washing machine and not kill it. But it's a really nice pattern. I've literally only well, I mean, that's the second ball, so it's gone quite a long way. I'm knitting the one 12-month size because she's not a year till June, but she's not a big little girl. She's quite diddy. The only thing is on the pattern, I was a bit, when I was looking, it says after you've done the split for the sleeves, you need to knit for 15.5 centimetres, and I thought that's going to be really long. And then reading, should have read the pattern right the way through, but reading on in the pattern, it says the smaller sizes are longer, and I think it's because they think that obviously as they get older, a little crop cardigan is more suitable. I did think about doing it shorter, but then I thought actually no, it's going to be more use to Amber and keep Rosie warm. Obviously she's got a little nappy on, bless her, so they have quite big bottoms, don't they, babies at that age, and she's crawling and stuff, so I just thought it would be good because it will keep her warm, but it should be quite a good weight for her to you know, to wear in the summer. So that I'm knitting on SHAWL Goose. I have gone down a needle size. I'm a very loose knitter, and what I did was sort of cast it on and then check the gauge once I cast on. I'm a bit naughty, I don't swatch, but what I do tend to do is start something. Once I've done a portion of it, then I'll measure it. And I don't think I ever, apart from one thing I'm going to talk to you about in a minute, I usually always end up going down one needle size. So yeah, so I'm pleased with that. This is living in a, this is a So Re Me bag from Rachel of So Re Me, and I got this, oh, it wasn't long after Rosie was born, because I just saw it and I thought, oh, so that's Nanny's bag that she has things in that she's making for Rosie. So that's, yeah, that's good. It's a really nice little bag actually. Her bags are really nice. They're not too fussy. They're nice and squishy. And they fold down really flat, and it's surprising how much you can get in them actually. I did, I can't remember, I did a shawl that had, for someone that had, I think it was 3 skeins, and I could fit 3 skeins in there. So they're nice little bags, and actually they're really reasonably priced as well. And that's Rachel's main job, is her Etsy shop. So it's just nice to support people, isn't it, sometimes. Now, I cast on the cardigan for Rosie after, sorry, the light's gone strange again, after a bit of a disaster. Now, it's my mum's birthday. Oh no, it's even worse now, it's all gone off the needles, but it doesn't matter. After the last podcast, I wanted to cast something on for my mum for her birthday, which is at the end of June. And we talked, she wants a jumper, and I said, well, I'll do that for you for Christmas. And I thought I'd love to knit her a really nice cotton top. Sorry, I'm just trying to put this back on. Oh, it's not going to work. And I found this really lovely pattern, and it's called, this isn't a long AVEC. So I started this one, and see what happened, and then I cast on the one for Rosie. I found this pattern, and it's the Rospico tee, and I thought that's really nice, but I did think Mum won't want it that close fitting. So I measured, my mum is the same bust measurement as I am, and like me, she's also got a bit of a sort of a curve at the top of her spine. So I started knitting it, and I got some, it's called Giza cotton. It's, excuse me, I'll just grab a ball of it to show you. I got it in Heathfield Crafts from the lovely Lisa, and I started knitting it in this. It's King Cole Giza, and it is 50-gram balls, and it's a cream colour, and it's 100% Giza mercerised cotton. Mum can't wear wool, she's allergic to lanolin, and she also is very aware that it costs quite a lot to knit in hand-dyed and things like that, and she just said, you know, she prefers to sort of use commercial yarns that don't have wool in. So I got some, and I thought, oh, it should be really nice, it'd be nice. I started knitting it, And as I said, I did want to go slightly bigger. I went down 2 needle sizes and gauge still wasn't great. And it's got this lovely lace pattern at the bottom, but I'm really not happy with it. There's 300 stitches on a round. That's okay, I don't mind knitting lots of stitches, but this was so hard on my hands, and I think that's probably some of it. I mean, I did this in a couple of days. I probably did a total of, I don't know, 7 hours knitting on it. The lace was really simple to do, I have to say. Very well written, really simple lace pattern. She does have you put stitch markers in for each repeat of the lace, and at one point I had 32 stitch markers on here, so manoeuvring those around when you're knitting takes time. It's not the pattern, I just don't think that this is the right yarn for this project. It's also, it just seems really uneven, and hubby said, "You're all right?" He said, "You keep looking at it." He said, "And you're frowning, what's the matter?" And I said, "Really not happy with it." But I kind of thought, I've spent the money on the yarn, I don't want to waste it. So I messaged Lisa the other night and just said, "I don't suppose you can still do exchanges, can you, due to COVID?" And she said, "Yeah." She said, "All we do is we pop it into quarantine, you're okay." And I just said, "That top I'm knitting for Mum," I said, "I'm really not happy with it." It's absolutely huge as well. I mean, it's coming off this cable anyway because I pinched the needles for something else, but it's massive. And Mum, I know she won't wear it because it's too big, but also I'm just not happy with how it's coming out. If I'm going to make her something, I want it to be something really nice. It's not the pattern's fault at all. This, I'm sure, is lovely yarn for some things. It's just not suited to this project, I don't think. And for me personally, I can't carry on knitting on something that is causing me so much pain. So yeah, so I've had to give up on that, which is a shame. So I've got 6 balls, I think it is, 6 balls I haven't started. So when I go back to Heathfield Crafts tomorrow, I'll take those, and Lisa says she's happy to swap them. So yeah, so it's a shame about that, but you know, these things happen, can't be helped. The needle, the pattern states for you to knit it in 3.75mm, and I went down to a 3mm and it still wasn't right. So it's just not, you know, it's not worth it really. So yeah, I've already said about Dad's Jones cardigan. I've got another thing that I'm thinking of doing for Rosie. What have I done with it? Oh, here it is. That's not the right pattern. I'm so sorry, I've put something down somewhere, and good job you can't see all this room, it's a right mess at the moment. My friend Jackie, when Rosie was born, she sent me this. I think it was called Powder Pink. It was a Hedgerow Yarns, and I can't find the ball band. I keep them, I think I hand wound this. If I wind them up with my wool winder, I tend to put the label in the middle and then cake it up so I don't lose the label, but I didn't with this one. It's a cotton, I think it was a cotton and merino. It's so soft. It's 100 grams and it's a fingering weight. And I didn't think it would be suitable for a cardie, because a lot of the 4-ply cardies for her size now need more than one skein. So what I did do was I was looking, I found this pattern, and then I watched In a Pickle Knitting, and she actually showed, it's worth looking at, going to see her actually. She showed all of the things that she's made her children since she started to knit, and she made her daughter one of these. This is a Lille Dahlia. She'd got a full-size version, adult version, that she knitted herself, and then she showed that she'd knitted her daughter one. I think she did the sweater, but this pattern now, it's got a long sleeve cardigan, a long sleeve jumper, I think it's a romper, and also a little top, and it's just like a little short sleeve top. So I'm thinking that would be the best thing to do with that yarn. I really wanted to find a pattern that I thought was really suitable for it, and it's more of a summer weight thing, so I kind of saved it till now. So my plan is to make Rosie this little top. But I think what I'm going to do, I don't know if you've seen the Knitting Shed do these really lovely kits. They're beautiful, but I just can't justify spending money on it at the moment. And it's a little knitted top, and then you put a Liberty skirt on the bottom. What I'm thinking of doing is knitting the little Dahlia top, making it cropped, and then making a fabric skirt on the bottom, and then I've got a pattern that I can use to make matching nappy cover, you know, like the old, I had terry nappies when I was a baby, and we used to have those awful plastic pants, but you can get, I've got a pattern that you can knit like the pants to go over a nappy, so she can have sort of a matching backside, bless her, little bottom, and this on the top, and the fabric I've got, and I should have got it out for today really, it's like a pale green, and it's got really lovely little tiny roses on it for my little Rosie. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start it off, do the sleeves, and then I shall knit down the body until I think it's about the right length, and then try putting that little skirt on the bottom. But it's just such a cute little pattern, and I think Amber, her mum, will really like that as well. So I just wanted to make something with this. It's going to get, you know, the wear. So it's, I mean, obviously it's not very warm at the moment, but I'm hoping that with the little skirt on it and matching knickers, and she'll have a nice little pretty outfit to wear. So that's future knitting. Helen Stewart has just released today, I'm so excited, I treated my friend Rachel for her birthday to the Shawl Society 5, and Helen Stewart's just released the first shawl today. It's a 3 skein shawl, so I'm going to be dyeing. I've got some undyed wool, I'm going to be dyeing for that, and Rachel's going to come round as well and dye some for her first one. 3 skeins is a lot when it's all the same colour, so I haven't decided yet what colour I'm going to do, but it's a beautiful shawl. Had started to print out the pattern so I could show you. Got a new printer, which I'm really chuffed I managed to set up, because it's a wireless one and I'm not very good with technology. Jack has to help me usually, my youngest, with everything like that, so managed to set it up, and I think I've printed probably about 6 or 7 patterns out, and I've used all the ink up already. So I've had to, it's got like this thing where you get so much ink a month, so I've had to upgrade that already. They obviously don't allow for the fact, do they, that you know, knitters, Ravelry patterns, you know, you need the ink. So I have been printing them out in black and white to save, you know, a bit of money, and also if there's a pattern that's got like multiple pictures in, I don't need 6 pictures of the same shawl in the pattern. I'd rather just have 1 picture and then the pattern. But yeah, unfortunately it prints from the last page up to the front cover, and it ran out of ink 3 pages before the start of the pattern, so I can't show you the pattern, but yeah, it's really nice. So I'm hoping that by next time I'll have been able to dye the wool for that, and I'll be able to show you. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I've got all of her shawl societies, and I haven't knitted all the shawls from them because some of them are quite bulky wool or like Aran weight or something, and I've just, you know, I struggle to knit with anything. My happy place is the fingering weight on a 2.5 or 2.75mm needle. I know that would fill some people with absolute dread, but that is the most comfortable my hands are for knitting, so that's kind of what I tend to go with. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So it'd be really nice to have a project that I can do alongside Rachel. So she's actually got her own Etsy shop. I don't think I mentioned it in the last podcast, and it's called Woolly Budgie, and she makes the most wonderful little booties. They are so cute that she crochets. It's her own pattern that she's done, and she puts them in these beautiful little presentation boxes, and they're birth announcements. So it says like, congratulations, you're going to be grandparents, or congratulations, you're going to be an auntie or an uncle or a big sister, and they're really sweet. So please go and check her page out. She's really bad at promoting herself. I don't do Facebook anymore, but every now and then I used to put a thing on Facebook, and she did say that it does, you know, does make a difference to sales, but she's not very good at promoting herself. But please go and check her out. It's a really lovely, she's got lots of little things on there, but I think for what you get, they're really reasonably priced as well. I know she did stop posting for a while because of COVID, and then her local post office were happy to help her, so she started posting again, and I think she's now posting overseas. She did stop for a while, but I think she's doing that again, so please go and check her out. She's so sweet, and it's just going to be so nice. We go to the same church, and she runs with another lady a group called Stitch Together. We're meeting on Zoom at the moment, and it's just so nice. I can't wait till we can meet again properly. So we've got ladies, and that's open, that, you know, it's open to the community, so it's not just people that attend the church that we go to. There's other people that come as well, and it's just so nice to sort of meet up. But as I say, it's on Zoom at the moment, and yeah, it'd just be nice to sit and chat properly, knit together in the flesh, have a cup of tea and a piece of cake. But yeah, so that's something to look forward to. And my other thing that I showed last time is I'm doing a birth sampler. for Rosie, my granddaughter, and it's a Beatrix Potter one. And this is it. Sorry, it's in the plastic. I did show it last time. And I think I called him Benjamin Bunny last time, and he's not. He's Peter Rabbit, so I'm so sorry. So it's Peter Rabbit, Jemima, and then these 3 little bunnies at the top. I didn't read all the Beatrix Potter ones. I can't remember what these are called. Is it? I'll have to look that up. But they're really cute. So last time I stitched Jemima. I hadn't backstitched her. Most of the backstitch was done on this bit, and I was stitching this little chap here. So don't cross stitch when you're really tired, especially in the evening when the light's not great, because I did almost all of Peter Rabbit, and then the next day looked at it, picked it up in the morning. I thought, right, I've had my breakfast, I'm going to have half-hour stitching, because I think I said last time I wanted to kind of give myself little spots of doing it. This is again something that I can't do much of in one go because it's looking down, and I had to unpick all of him because he gone wrong in about 4 places, and one bit was so annoying. I'd used the same colour as the bit next to it, but in the light it looked like it was a different colour. So I'm merrily stitching away, and say the next day I had to rip it all out. So I said last time I was going to set myself the challenge of finishing Jemima, doing all her back stitch. There's a little butterfly next to her, the leaves in the middle of the flowers, and Peter Rabbit. And I have to say, this is awful. It's not because it's for Rosie, because I love her so much. I'm not enjoying this at all. So it's got so many fractional stitches in it, and it's just a nightmare. And some of them you can't even see what colour they're supposed to be on the chart. So I mean, the threads that come with it are lovely. It's a nice piece of fabric. It's only Ada. It's really difficult because I think it's like a really pale blue. It's not white. It's a, well, if it is, it's a blue white, if that makes sense. It's not my favourite thing to work on, and it's a shame because I kind of thought, oh, so that's why I thought I need to show it on here, because then it will give me, I need to be accountable for it really. So I've done that bit. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is, I'm not sure if I'm going to show you when it's got all her name on, because obviously it's going to have a first name, middle name, last name and her date of birth. So what I'll probably do is when it's completely finished, I will show it to you however I choose to finish it. If it might be like a little quilted wall hanging, I might frame it, I'm not sure yet. But I will probably block out some of her name and her date of birth. And it's not because I don't, you know, I'm not being horrible, but I'm just a little bit wary. I don't think it's fair for me to share all those details. She's my granddaughter, she's not my little girl, so it's not up to me. So I think what I'm going to do is try and work on probably one of the bunnies at the top for next time, and see how I go with that. So it is living in oh, it's got Max puppy fur all over it. Davina from Little Workroom Crafts. Although I'm not buying lots at the moment, I have got a small budget to, if I want to go and have a coffee with someone or something like that. So I hadn't done anything for ages, hadn't bought anything for a long time. So Davina of Little Workroom Crafts, she had put these in her Etsy shop. There was this one, and I can't remember, I think the other one might have been Peter Rabbit, but it's just so cute. It's a little folder to keep your cross stitching. There's little Jemimas on the front, and then the back is this lovely pink, and then the top's got like lilies on, and it's got little green snappers. And it came with a grime guard, which is the thing that you put on an embroidery hoop. This one that I'm doing for Rosie, I'm stitching in hand just because at the moment it's more comfortable for me to do that. And it comes with this little notions pouch as well, which is really cute, in the same fabrics. And it Davina puts a little bit of felt inside so you can put your needle in there. And I've got my scissors in there and the flosses. So yeah, it's really cute. And once I finish this cross stitch, I should just use it for other cross stitches. I really like it. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. Thanks, Davina. It's great. It's nice because it's not too bulky. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. It's cute. It's really sweet. So yeah, so that's living in there. So I need to do some work on that for next time. Excuse me, I'm getting uncomfortable. So as I said to you, I've been having a big sort out at home, and Ruth of Ruth Loves to Knit really likes bright colours, and I sent her a picture of some yarns, and I just said these were club yarns. I'm not going to use them. Would you like them? And I said I'd like to send them to you as a blessing. And she sent me a message back later saying, oh, can we do a swap? And I was like, well, no, that's not why I asked you, but bless her heart, she insisted. So she sent me these in the post. They are so lovely. She sent me this card. So true, isn't it? Definitely cheaper than therapy. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't really go out much. So if I do have the odd treat every now and then, I don't think that's kind of like the end of the world, is it really? So she sent me 2 skeins. She sent me this Hedgerow Yarns. This is a sock set, this one. Oh, that label doesn't... There you go, Hedgerow Yarns. And this is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 365 metres. And the 20 gram skein is the same blend, and it's 73 metres. But look at the colours. It's not really doing it justice on the camera, actually. But it's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. It's really, really nice. So I'm not sure what I'm going to make with it yet. It probably will be socks, but I'm going to have a look at my sock patterns and decide which one I'm going to do. And then I have knit with Hedgerow Yarns before, and I have to say I really like it. This base and the base that Mr. and Mrs. Rabbit use is my favourite to knit socks on now. It's really lovely, and I've got a couple of pairs that I've knitted in, and they're wearing really well. So she also sent me this skein from Burrow and Saw. Look at the colours. Love it. It's gorgeous. Haven't knitted with theirs before, so I was really excited when I opened it. This is called Iris. This Hedgerow Yarns one hasn't got colourway name on it, so I think she kind of dyes small batches, doesn't she, Hedgerow Yarns now? So yeah, this Burrow and Saw one is called Iris, and 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's got quite a woolly feel to it, this one, actually. It's nice, I like it. I think this will probably be socks as well, but I'm not sure. I might do a shawl with it, actually. I don't know. I'm not going to cast anything on with them straight away. I want to have a really good look through my patterns and see, you know, what's what. And I love sheep. And she sent me this as well. It's a little needle minder. So I should use that when I, you know, do my rosy cross stitch. The other day I went to put it in the fabric. I'm really sorry. I don't know why the light keeps going in and out. I put the needle in the fabric. Well, went to, and it pinged across the room. And Max was in here at the time, and he sort of like looked up as it went past. Oh, I couldn't find it. I spent ages looking for it. I found it the next day. I just was a bit scared that he or Puggy, the little pug that we're fostering, would find it and eat it. But no, I did manage to find it. It had gone, we've got laminate flooring in this room, and it had kind of gone under, stuck under the little trim at the side. So yeah, so this needle minder is going to be great. Thanks ever so much, Ruth. So I'll put those away, and I went to see Zoe. We're fostering her little pug dog for her at the moment, and she's so naughty. I think I said to you last time, you know, she sent me a few skeins of yarn now, and I went to visit her the other day, and she just said, these are for you. And I said, it's not my birthday yet. She said, no, they're not your birthday present. But I've got 2 skeins of Mr. and Mrs. Rabbit yarn. She's so naughty, but they are absolutely gorgeous. So there's this one. I love her label, isn't it cute? So there's this one. And it smells gorgeous as well. It's kind of fairly true to colour. This one is called, oh, I like this, Babbity Bumble. Fab name. And it's her deluxe high twist merino sock yarn base. 80% extra fine superwash merino, 20% nylon. Hand wash advised. Have started hand washing all our socks now. Apart from some of Jack's went in the machine, but they're not in hand dyed. Definitely hand wash. I think with these beautiful yarns, they're going to last so much longer. Sorry, so I am going to be hand washing them. I tend to just save all my socks now. I've got a bowl that I put them all in, and then once I've got enough to hand wash, I do them all in one go. And I tend to I've only got a tiny little bit of soak left, and what I do is I use, I think it's Fairy, because I wash anything I make for Rosie and that, and I just put a tiny bit of that in the bowl and some lukewarm water, and then just leave them to soak for about half an hour. It's amazing what colour the water is when you tip it away, and then I just put them in the machine on a rinse and spin, and then I think the rinse temperature on my machine is 30 degrees. It's very cool anyway, and they seem to be doing really well like that. The second skein is called the Skylark Sing Again, and it's this one. It's gorgeous. It's actually That's better. It's so pretty. I think I know what I'm going to make with this one. So this one, I think I did manage to print off the front page actually of this one last night. I was looking through my patterns, kind of in preempting the Helen Stewart one, and I found this one. This was in the Knit Vent 2017, and it's the SHAWL. It's so pretty. This has got beads in it, and I haven't knitted anything with beads in yet. And I think I'm going to use this for that. I've got some clear beads. They're not silver lined, but I think they'll be okay with this. So I'm going to have a go at, I'm trying to be good and use what I've got as well. I don't really want to keep going out and buying more stuff, because I have got, I mean, it scared me quite a lot actually when I was sorting through stuff. I've got so much stuff, and I'd really want to try and use what I've got. But I think the clear beads on this will be really, you know, just give it a little tiny bit of a texture. So I think that's what this is going to be. I think I'm going to knit the SHAWL with this one. And the Babbity Bumble one, Lindsay from Stitch Crate Love, she's got a carousel sock pattern. And she's just actually, a lot of people have been posting photo. They've been, oh, Jan, come on. Sorry. They've been test knitting the carousel hat pattern for her. And a few pictures have popped up with that. I think Lindsay put one on. Jeanette of Crafty Creation, she posted one. I think it was this morning or yesterday. It's a beautiful hat. And what Lindsay's done is she's done socks, a hat, and she's done fingerless, like little wrist warmers. She's trying to get all the 3 patterns out of one hand scut. I'm so sorry, I'm getting my words really muddled up today. She's trying to do the 3 patterns from one skein of hand-dyed wool, and then obviously contrast for like I think it was the heels and toes of the socks, the rib of the hat, and the wrist mittens as well. I think Paula from Stitched by Mrs D challenged her. You can get all 3 things out of those. So I actually messaged Lindsay and said, I've got size 8 feet. I said, I'm not sure I'm going to get that out of. And she said, oh no, she said, I have. And she said, I've put how many rows, so follow the stitch pattern. So I think I'm going to cast on the carousel socks with this. And it's got quite a personal thing really. My dad, when he retired from the police force, he bought, it was called a Colson. I think it was a 1960s or 1950s, and it was a children's fairground ride, you know, the little roundabouts that you get. And it wasn't plastic, it was all wood. So it had 2 of the galloping horses on it. They were flat, kind of like flat wood. It had a little car that he did up as Brum. I don't know if you remember I don't know if Brum's still on, but it was certainly on when my youngest was little. So he painted that as Brum and added bits to it. It had a bus on it, a fire engine which had a bell, and Dad literally completely renovated the ride. When he got it, it was in such a state. He had to completely rebuild some parts, all new wood, and he's not had any art training or anything, but he's really good at doing the fairground art, the painting that you see, not so much on the new fairground things you get, but the old with the swirls and stuff like that. So when he got that, I think he got it when Connor was about 18 months old. Connor's 23 this year. And then when Jack was born, I had to have a C-section. When I was discharged from hospital, we went via where they had that roundabout up and running at the time. And I think my mum or my dad sat on the roundabout holding Jack, and that was his first ride, and he was only like about 4 days old. So when Dad painted it, when he did the horses, he did one with my name on, he put Jan on it, and one with my sister's. So for next time, I think I've got a photo. I haven't got a photo of Mel's one, but I've got a photo of mine. I'm a lot younger then, a lot slimmer, and my hair's not great. So I'll try and find that and look that out. And I told Lindsay that story. She said, oh, that's so lovely. But I thought, yeah, I want to use this for something special, because it's from Zoe, and we've only been friends since I think it was the end of October, but she's a really good friend, and I keep telling her off because she doesn't need to do this. You know, we're looking after Puggy because it's helping her out, and Puggy's a blessing to us after we lost our little Shih Tzu last year. So I really want to make something special with this. I'm not sure if I'll make the hat in this because I don't know whether this colour is going to be great. Having said that, I have got some purple, so maybe I could do the hat, but I'm definitely going to do the socks, and then I'll decide what I do with the rest of it afterwards. So yeah, so I'm really looking forward to casting that on, because Lindsay's been really sweet to me. She sent me some really lovely messages. I've just remembered something. I had something else I wanted to show you, but I'm going to show you next time. Just wanted some feedback really. I've done a sock pattern that I actually designed 3 years ago. A bit like podcasting. Just haven't felt that it's good enough for me to put out there. I need to write it up. So what I'm going to try and do is knit it again, so I can write it down as I go. And then obviously it will need to be tested. It's a sock that's got a cable pattern on it. It's not difficult. I think I memorised it really quickly, but it's a nice sock. It fits really well. Unfortunately, the ones that I knitted, I did them in Amy's Stranded Dye Works yarn. It was the Industrial Kingfisher colourway. Absolutely loved them. And the first time I wore them, I ended up with a hole in them. And the only thing I can think of is I think we went to someone's house when you could, you know. And you know the metal bits that you get between rooms in the doorways where the carpets join? I think I must have caught it on the screw or something on that, because I thought, oh, what's that? And then when I got home, Sean says, you've got a massive hole in your socks. I was a bit fed up really, because it's not cheap, her yarn. It's beautiful, but it's not cheap. And that was my sock design, so I've got one I can show you, but I'll show you that next time. What I'll do is I'll start knitting another one in a different yarn. I think what I might do is try it in a drops, like a Nord or something like that, or in a commercial sock yarn, because I really want people to not feel they have to knit something in hand dyed, if that makes sense. So yeah, I shall show you that next time. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I need to tell you. Oh, Davina likes her charity shops, and I was up the town with Jack, and I don't think I mentioned this last time. I had for my birthday, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, I've got a 12 scale doll's house. It's the Mountfield house. It's a 1930s sort of build. It's very much like the house that my nan and granddad lived in. And I got the kit at a very reduced price on eBay, and I've kind of built the shell of it, and that's as far as I've got, partly because I was working ridiculous hours. I got really sick and I just didn't feel I could, you know, do it at the time, and I did consider selling it. And then I thought, it's really silly, because I've got the house, I've got all the wallpaper and stuff, I've got the lighting, and I've also got some furniture kits for it. And hearing that Jeanette from Crafty Clegs, she's got a doll's house as well, I thought, do you know what, I should really get on with it. So what I'll do is, I'm not going to show the actual house yet, because it's just like a shell. It'd be a bit boring to show you, but once I've got it to the point where the outside's decorated and the rooms are papered, flooring down and stuff like that, when I start making the little things to go in it, then I'll show those. Every now and then, if I've seen something, I've picked little bits up. I knew I always wanted to get a doll's house, so a few times I've been to craft fairs and seen little things. What I want to do is make as much as I can for it. That's not a cheap hobby. If you're buying the furniture and stuff, it's quite expensive. It mounts up really quickly. So I wanted to make as much as possible, but also it's not a 5-minute project. We don't have the space for me to have umpteen dolls houses, and you know, respect to people that do. I know some people have got loads of different ones, but that's probably their only hobby, because I sew and I knit, and I do just like making things. I love wood. I'm not a woodworker, but I do love wood and the smell of wood. I just like making things. So what I thought I'll do is get the house to the point where it's decorated inside and out. And then when I start making things to go in it, that's when I'll show you it. But we walked past one of the charity shops, and obviously the charity shops have been shut for such a long time. And there's one in the town that we live that it's a special needs charity, and you know, it is something that's close to my heart as well, really. I've got friends that have got children that are quite severely disabled, and it's just, you know, it's a nice thing to support. And it said large stock of craft items, and Jack looks at me, he rolls his eyes, and we're just about to go in the shop, and we hear this almighty thud, and this poor lady, luckily she was quite young, bless her heart, as she said, it's a good job I've got some padding. She was quite a big lady, in her probably 40s, I'd say, and she slipped on the floor and she went down so hard, and Jack went, oh, Mum, like this, and I just threw in a shot. You know, I think I said earlier I'm a nurse, you know, unfortunately you're never off duty, but she went down with such a bang. How she didn't break a limb or something, I don't know. And she said if I hadn't have been a big girl, she said I would have broken something. Didn't see the water on the floor. Her husband said careful, because I was going over to her, there's water there. So helped her up, made sure she was okay, you know, and got the manager of the shopping centre to come down. I said, look, you need to, she says she's all right, but you need to fill an accident form in, because she went down with one hell of a bang. So eventually we get in the craft shop, into the charity shop, and there's this box, and it just said Doll's House things. And I've been looking for a set with cups and saucers and plates in for probably, I don't know, 6-7 years. Our dinner service that we got belonged to my great aunt. She wasn't much older than my mum and dad. She's only about 4 years, but although he was my great uncle, my dad got on really well with my great uncle Tony, because he wasn't much older. They kind of grew up together, and Auntie Ave gave me her dinner service when she was sorting through stuff in her house and that. She said, oh, no one will want that, it can go to the charity shop. And my mum said, well, I can think of somebody. And she said, well, I can't think of anyone that would want that. And it's a willow set. It's two I think there's some and some. It looks like probably some of the plates have been broken, have been replaced with others, but it's the blue and white pattern. I really like old stuff. I just think, and also I don't like I think today's very much a throwaway society, so I really like old cups and saucers and plates and things like that, old pieces of cookware. And I saw this little set, and I kind of thought, oh no, I shouldn't get it yet. But I thought, I've never seen one that I really, really like. So I got it. It kind of reminds me of my nan, because she used to love doing what we call choosing tea, putting all the things or cakes and stuff and sandwiches on the table. It's like the dinner service we've got, and also it reminds me of Auntie Ave, and I think it was £4. So to buy this, it probably would have been, I don't know, maybe £15-20. They're really, that's why I've not bought one so far. The ones I've seen that I've liked have been so expensive, can't justify paying the money they're asking for them. So it's only a 4 setting, but it's just so cute. So it's a bit silly, a bit soppy, but I really like it. The house that I'm going to do is going to be, I think, post-war. That's the era that I'm going for. So I've got some beautiful 1930s, 1940s wallpaper to go in it. Some of the things that I'm going to want to go in it, I'm going to have to make myself. I might need a bit of a help from my dad with some bits, but yeah. So I got that. So that was nice. So it's a little treat to myself. One thing I was going to say is Elaine from the Mr. and Mrs. Rabbit's Zoom group. Something came up the other day about sock blockers. Now, I don't block my, when I make socks and gift them, or even socks for myself, I don't what I call block them. So I soak them, because I think definitely it softens if it's a commercial yarn. Nothing wrong with commercial sock yarn. It's really hard wearing. The socks that I've done for my husband and the boys, you know, last really well, reasonably priced. If they get wrecked, it's not the end of the world. So I don't block them. What I do is soak them. So as I said, I've only got a little tiny bit of soak left. So mostly now what I'm doing is just a tiny bit of this fairy washing liquid. I've got sensitive skin, and I've got that because of doing things for Rosie. So it's just sensible. So I just put a little bit of that in, either in the sink with lukewarm water in a bowl, and then we've got like a line airer thing in our bathroom. I just hang them over that. So I don't tend to, the only reason I've got the sock block is they were really cheap off of Etsy. I had to wait quite a while for them to come. But it's just to show socks on here, really. As I said, I wanted a podcast about 2 years ago or 3 years ago and just couldn't pluck up the courage to do it. So that's the only reason I use them now, and for taking photos. I need to get better at taking photos for Instagram. I'm really bad at Instagram. Ravelry, I don't put any projects on it. The only reason I go on Ravelry now is for patterns. When they change, I understand they have to update things and that, and I know a lot of work went into it. and I don't feel it's fair to come off Ravelry completely, because I've got money invested in the patterns that I've bought, and it's not fair on the designers. But I can't cope with the new setup. When they did the classic it was okay, but now they've changed all the settings and you can't use the old scheme. I just find it really hard to read it. I do get migraines, it does affect my eyesight, so I don't sort of go on the forums and things now. But sorry, digressing. One thing we did say was a sock ruler. You know, I think if you knit a lot of socks, especially, I've asked so many times, people say, oh, can you knit me a pair of socks? I say, yeah, draw around your feet for me, and they just think you've got 4 heads. But if they draw around your feet, you can put it on a piece of card or something, and you can use that as like a sort of like a tool for seeing how long to knit them. This I got, it's a sock ruler. I would imagine you probably get them in the States as well, because we had this conversation, whether, you know, US foot sizes. This has got UK and European on the other side, but it's really good. So what you do is when you're knitting your sock, let me just grab one of the socks. When you're knitting the foot, once you've done your heel gusset, you sit it in the heel. I don't think I'm going to be able to show you actually, because I've done the foot. That's your heel there. You sit it in that way, and you look up the size that you're knitting, and that tells you how many inches. And then what I do is I take off 2 inches of the size it says on there, and I knit the foot until it gets to 2 inches shorter than the length it says on the sock ruler. And that's when you start your toe. If you do a wedge toe, that's what I do. I've tried round toes, I've tried the beanie toe, I've tried, I think the beanie toe, I think that's So Sweet Violet, isn't it? And then I've tried the heel that Kay Jones does, which is the umbrella toe. They don't fit me. They really don't fit me. And it's nothing to do with the way the pattern's written. The patterns are beautifully written. Both ladies are very clever, very clear in their instructions. They just don't fit me. So I tend to always do a wedge toe. And heels now as well, I'm finding that, especially if you're knitting with a hand-dyed yarn, and I don't like it when you do a heel flap and gusset and then the yarn starts pooling. You know, some people love it. I personally don't like it. So what I do now, if I'm using a hand-dyed yarn, is I put in a true afterthought heel. They're not difficult to do. It's very similar to knitting a wedge toe, but there's some really good tutorials, and that's what I tend to do now for heels. But if I'm knitting socks for other people as gifts, or they say, oh, can you knit me a pair of socks? I'll pay for the yarn. That doesn't often happen, I have to say, but that's okay. It's nice to you know, sort of bless people with your knitting, isn't it? I use this a lot. So I can't remember how much it was. It wasn't a lot. I think it was less than £15. If I'm wrong, please forgive me. I got this one from Rosie's Moments, but I've got no doubt there's probably other people you know, that sell them online. But I think if you are going to invest in something, that's really worthwhile, especially, as I say, if you're knitting socks for gifts. Yeah, that's it really. I'm sorry, it's probably been really rambly again. I got quite nervous about today, which is ridiculous, because I really enjoyed the last one. Still amazed that I actually managed to upload it to YouTube. I had to get some help with Jack with setting YouTube up. I couldn't work out how you put your name in and stuff like that, whether it came up with your actual full name on, which I didn't really want on YouTube, if I have to say, so my own, you know, personal surname and that. Yeah, got it set up, so hopefully, and this one, the last one, it was almost uploaded and then it stopped and started all over again. So I think at one point I ended up with it up on YouTube twice. So I did take one of them off really quickly. But yeah, I just wanted to, I've noticed quite a lot of podcasts lately, they've been doing a share the love. So anything incoming, I'm going to call blessings. I also want to do a share the love or share joy, really. Certainly from podcasts that I've seen that I find bring me joy. It's very difficult at the moment, I think. There's been so much negativity in the last year, and certainly for us, Sean and I have only been married for 3 years, and for us this has been a really tough year. I know it has for lots of people. We're very blessed in the fact that we haven't lost any family members. None of us have had COVID. I've had both my vaccines because of work, and Sean's had both of his. Jack hasn't had his yet. My eldest son hasn't had his yet. So I will be a lot happier when they've had their vaccinations. However, definitely in the last year we've been really touched by little things that people have done. It might be I ended up in hospital for a couple of days last year. When I came home, somebody from church left a lasagna on the doorstep with a bag of salad and some garlic bread, and it's all little things like that. And I think it's really important, you know, sending somebody a little parcel in the post. Yeah, you pay for postage, but it's just nice to bless other people. So I think spreading joy as well. I think for me, in my work as a nurse, I've been doing a lot of bank work recently in a dressings clinic. So I quite often see the same patients for, you know, weeks. Some of them it's been months, and some of them realise that I'm not going to be doing so many shifts, and it's been really lovely to have time with them, you know, them share things that are funny, things that have happened during lockdown. And one of the patients said to me, "You bring joy," and I do try to be a cheerful person. One of the things that really touched me with the podcast was the lovely response about being authentic and sort of not being quite calm. I don't think the voice of my husband would think that I'm calming, but it was actually just really nice. And I think sometimes you kind of, I think we're all guilty of putting ourselves down. I really enjoyed doing the last podcast. I've enjoyed this one. I felt more nervous this time, but I think it's really important to share other people that are podcasting as well. There's quite a lot of podcasts that I watch. I mentioned some of them last time, but I think with this time what I'm going to do is just mention a couple of new ones. So I'd like to give a shout out to Amanda, who is Little Lycac. I think she's done 3 podcasts, might be 4. She's a teacher. She's worked full time through the pandemic. And she's a kind of multi-crafter as well. I can't remember if she does patchwork, but she certainly knits and she crochets. And she's just really sweet as well. She's very sort of natural, and it's like you're sitting having a chat with her. It's really nice. And Gemma, who's part of the Mr. and Mrs. Rabbit Zoom group, she plucked up the courage to do a podcast after I'd done mine. We had a lot of encouragement from the Rabbit girls, I have to say, and it was really nice actually. She said, I film one, and it was so nice to watch her. And hers is called Offcuts, and she is Gemma Espray Designs. She's just opened up, oh, is it Etsy or Folksy? That's really awful, I can't remember. And it's Gemma Espray Designs, but her podcast is called Offcuts. Gemma is a knitter, and she also does the most stunning paper cutting, absolutely beautiful. She's posted a picture on Instagram today, and she's drawn, you know, freehand herself. She's drawn a skein of yarn. She's now cutting out all the little bits, and it is absolutely beautiful. She's done some amazing work. She did have it as a business, I think, some time ago, and then she stopped. She's working from home through the pandemic, and she's doing this paper cutting as sort of like a little sideline business. So go and check her out. It's really lovely. She's got an amazing craft room. Puts this room to shame. I can't wait to decorate this. I've decided to carry on sorting all the clutter out first, and get everything sorted out, and then paint it once it's done. Then I can put it all away nicely. And the other one is who's done quite a few. She does a vlog, but also she does a crafty podcast, and it's Dawn's Days. Her name's Dawn, obviously. She lives in I think it's Holland, in the Netherlands. Yeah, sure that's right. She started off a vlog. They moved, I think it was 20-something years ago. I think she's lived there. So they did a vlog initially to keep kind of like friends and family up to date with what what they're doing. But she now does a crafty podcast as well, and she, bless her heart, she gave me a shout out as well, which was really lovely. But she's a multi-crafter as well, and she's got a doll's house. I think I found the house in one of the vlogs, but yeah, she's just started sort of doing little bits and pieces for it. So you know, is what I'll try and do is find new ones, and also recommend one that's been going a long time as well. I think we're lucky to have this community, and I think I said last time that watching podcasts has actually that, my crafting and my faith is what's kept me going the last year. You know, work's been challenging. I've had quite a few changes of job, unfortunately, and it's quite stressful in itself. So it's been really lovely to see what other people are working on. And I don't know about you, but I can't find much good to watch on the telly at the moment. There's, you know, you get the odd series. I love Call the Midwife, so that's good. That's on at the moment, but that's not on, you know, forever. It usually finishes around Christmas time, doesn't it? Line of Duty finished. Netflix is not really masses on there that I feel like watching at the moment, and I can't read at the moment. I just can't concentrate to read. I just find that I start reading a page of a book and I fall asleep, which isn't great. So that probably better be it, really. I'm sure I've forgotten something. Really sorry if I have. We live in East Sussex. I don't think I said that at the start. Yeah, we don't have a massively dramatic life, but okay with that. It's nice that we're starting to come out of lockdown a bit now. I've seen mum and dad, which has been nice, and yeah, I did have a couple of friends around yesterday for some lunch, and we did sit in the conservatory. We allow people in your house now anyway, aren't you? And we just opened the conservatory doors, let some air in, and had lunch together. And it is really weird that something as normal as somebody coming and sitting at your table and eating a meal that you've prepared with you seems so surreal, really. Yeah, so yeah, it was just lovely to have friends around. So anyway, take care, look after yourself, stay safe. Even if you've had your vaccines, you can still get COVID and you can still pass it on, contrary to popular belief. It still amazes me how many people think, oh, I can't get COVID, I've had the jab. You can. I've got now 4 work colleagues that have had both vaccinations and they've still got COVID. So, you know, just be sensible. Don't hug everyone is all I would say. I'm a hugger. I found it so hard not to hug people for the last year. It's been so difficult. But yeah, just be sensible. And I think, you know, yes, I know we've probably got to learn to live with this. There's probably going to be booster jabs and things, but I don't think any of us realistically want to get put back in another lockdown. I know I certainly don't. You know, hopefully the sun will come out soon. We'll have some decent weather in the UK. I don't know what it's like sort of elsewhere at the moment, but it's the comparison in the weather to last year is just unbelievable, really. It was really hot last year, and yeah, this year it's not so good. So I've got changes afoot with work. As I said, the shifts on the bank at the hospital in the place where, you know, places I do my shifts, are starting to sort of slow up a bit. So obviously we've got to make sure we can pay our bills, and we've got, as I said, substantial work we need to do to the house. So I'm going to be hopefully providing everything goes okay. They've got references, my DBS is okay. I've got an enhanced one for children and adults because of the work I've been doing, and also I help with youth groups at church as well, so I have to have the children's one for that, and that has to be enhanced. So mine's on the update service, so that's all sorted. My PIN number, they've checked that I'm legal to work as a nurse and that I've revalidated and everything, so that's good. So I'm now just waiting on them to sort of like look at OC health questionnaires and stuff like that, and hopefully starting induction. I think hopefully that will be within the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to be doing 2 nights a week. I know nights fill some people with dread. It's not great, but realistically, if Jack can get a job, bless him, hopefully he'll get a job soon. He's trying so hard. And also with Max, he's quite a handful. He's a lovely little dog. He's ever so sweet, but he is quite a handful, and we just can't leave him on his own. He was left on his own for an hour and a half the other day, and he completely destroyed a denim patchwork cushion that I'd made for my husband. And when I say destroyed, I mean completely destroyed. You couldn't... I knew what it was. I came in the front door and the whole hallway and all the lounge floor was completely covered in stuffing and bits of denim. So he just is a dog that unfortunately we can't leave on his own. It's, you know, a dog shouldn't be left all day on their own anyway, and we wouldn't do that, but I think it's realistically, work-wise, is this going to be a good option for me? I will be splitting my night shifts up so that I can rest in between. For health reasons, I find it very difficult to do 2 nights on the trot or 2 long days on the trot, so being sensible, have to spread them out. Yeah, so that's quite exciting. So yeah, that's life, really. So I've talked too long. I'm really sorry. This has gone on for too long. So I just want to send love to everyone, really. You know, as I said, take care of yourselves. and I'll see you probably won't be next week, the week after. I'll try and do a Tuesday again. I want to try and do them sort of 2 weekly if I can. That might not always work out. Sometimes I might be able to do weekly, but I don't really want to tie myself down to anything. So thank you for spending time with me. I hope I haven't bored you to tears. I would love to see you come back again, and I shall get cracking on some house blessing, as I call it. Don't like calling it housework. House blessing is much better, and hopefully later on this afternoon. So take care. God bless. Bye.